right, guys, I think we're getting started here. If I am correct, let's make sure that everything is working correctly. We should be good to go.
Okay, we're not balanced. You're a giant and I'm a little midget.
We're in that back here. Let's see here, guys. Can you see us is number one.
Excellent.
Can you see us? Can you see us? Can you see us? Make sure that we are showing up properly. Guys, just want to make sure that everything is coming through okay. I'm just looking up. There we are on Facebook. Good deal. I see us on Facebook. I'm going to go ahead and refresh us over on Twitter or on Periscope. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. We are here. Hi guys, I see April in there. Alita, Chris, Michelle, Kim, Terry. Thanks for popping in, guys. Please share the feed. Let everybody know that we are on. So we are just in the midst of getting everything rolling here ASAP. We appreciate it. And I'm going to click on this. I'm doing 10 things at once, guys. Sorry. We will figure this out as we go. Ah, there we go. Okay, excellent. Okay, welcome to our friends over on Periscope as well. Thank you. We are going to give you a quick introduction because I know a lot of you guys may know who we are, but I think our friends over on Periscope might not. So we just want to go ahead and let you know what we are, who we are, and what we're doing here. So this is called Knowledge from Beyond. It's a show on the Spirit Realm Network. You can watch it either on Facebook, Spirit Realm Network. You can watch spiritrealm.net live, or you can watch us on Periscope or YouTube TV. Man is the Moon on both of those. My name is Chris Moon. I'll give you a little bit more about myself here in a second, but this guy over here, I'll let him introduce himself.
My name is Len David Livsey. I'm a full spectrum Gnostic. I come here every Wednesday to tell you about secret society information. And my goal is to tell you everything. Leave nothing behind.
We're putting it all out there.
We're putting it all out there.
So guys, my name is Chris Moon. I'm a psychic medium, paranormal investigator, and author. And you're an author too.
Yes, I've written 5 books, yes.
And we come and do this show specifically because we want to tell you about the stuff that nobody else will talk about. We're going to put out the truth, and sometimes we agree on things, sometimes we don't. But we're going to give you our perspective and let you know what we're all about, and go from there. So guys, shoot us your questions over in Facebook, shoot us your questions in Periscope or YouTube, and we're going to try to keep track of everybody, and spiritrealm.net as well.
Excellent. And I would like to add where, people keep asking me where I'm getting my information from. My information, I'm in contact. I haven't disclosed yet. Probably one day we'll have to have that conversation. Who I'm getting my conversation from, who I'm getting and who I'm dealing with. We're not there yet, okay? But I am in contact with several sources, and I receive information. And this is how my books was written. They was channeled, and you give me a subject, and they give me the information for it. And boy, they give me a lot of information for this subject.
So how does that process work really quickly, Livsey? When we talk about the process, how do you receive the information? How does that go?
We're going to have a whole show on that one.
Yeah.
We haven't not really ready for that yet.
Oh.
But I work for some people. Well, I do mediation work. And that's how I first got started. I was doing mediation where I could send messages from one to another, or if you was having problems dealing with whoever you're dealing with. But I'm way beyond that now. And my books was written by I have something called the gift of knowledge. And I'm a depository of information. So they would deposit information to me. And on a need-to-know basis. And sometimes they don't want to give it to me, but a lot of times they will. And sometimes I'm not able to disclose, but I'm always willing to tell you when I cannot tell you certain things. And we're ready to start.
We're ready to go. So this week we are going to discuss something very deep.
Super deep.
I hope that we make it out alive on this one, I'll be honest with you,
yes.
because who knows how this is all going to go.
And if we survive this week, we definitely won't survive next week, because next week is just going to be the killer. Yes.
That's not a good thing. So again, guys, please share. Get your friends in here. Thank you for the super hearts, guys. We appreciate the hearts and super hearts. We really, really do. Thank you so much. If I seem distracted tonight, I'm not. I'm just getting used to monitoring a lot of different information. We got Dia also monitoring YouTube, sorry. So she's going to pass along information from YouTube. I'm looking at Periscope and I'm looking at Facebook. So guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. Go for it, Livsey.
Okay, so today we're going over the following things. We're going over officially the secret conspiracy behind the New World Order, and that will lead into our the last 15-20 minutes. We're going to talk about understanding the concept of transhumanism, because these two subjects is connected. So let's start on the New World Order first.
Okay, let's do it.
Most people think the New World Order is something new, and it goes back to something which is recent. Okay. That we have. Where's our pyramid? Are we showing our pyramid?
Yeah, I can bring it up. Let me mess with it here for a second. Bring that up to the front. Go ahead and
okay.
Keep going.
We have something which is written on the back of the dollar bill. Mm-hmm. This is not something new. This goes back to the Illuminati, to the 1700s. Mm-hmm. But this goes back a lot further than that. Mm-hmm. And this is a very old symbol. Mm-hmm. And this symbol goes into, if you can't find it, I can always show my trusty picture.
Oh, I think I got it. I'm just working on it. I think I'm ready to go. I'm just working on the order right now.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Boom.
There we go. So this is what you see on the back of the dollar bill. We're going to explain what you're looking at, and then we're going to go into, can they see it over here or just on the...
Yeah, they can see it, yeah.
Okay.
It's going to pop up.
Okay, excellent.
It's on a delay.
Right. So that is the pyramid structure which controls our world. Mm. Okay, and you can...
Whoa. That controls our world. What do you mean by
our
that?
world is controlled by something called the overlords, which we went over when we talked about the reptilians. Okay. The earth is a colony of theirs. Remember, there's this war going on in heaven that we talked about. Mm-hmm. And the earth is important because of this strategical location in space. Mm-hmm. We are close to the front line. Okay. A lot of people have, that's the reason we're visited by so many representatives. But right now, we're under reptilian control, and we're under the people that actually run our world is actually from Draco. Okay, the constellation of Draco. They're the ones that actually run our world. Yes. Okay. So we are under their rule. Okay. As of right now. Okay. So the pyramid used to be on the pyramid. I mean, the top of the pyramid used to be connected to the bottom. Okay. That is when the gods and man ruled to where rulership was actually on the surface of the earth. Okay. What happened, as which we talked about on several times, Zeus was the main one who was in control here. Mm-hmm. Back in those days, we're talking a long time ago. Okay. He was always interfering in man affairs and having lots of problems, and that started a war on the earth about the Battle of Troy. Okay. And in the Battle of Troy, which was a war that started on earth, which also started a war in heaven, his son Apollo overthrew Zeus. Okay. And Apollo wanted separation between the gods. Mm-hmm. And that's when the top of the pyramid was disconnected from the bottom, because there's a space between us and them. Right, you can see that. They want to keep that space.
So that's the, let's keep the gods up here, let's keep everybody else down here.
Okay, yeah. We are not now. Their goal is to put the pyramid back, to top back on the pyramid again. Okay. That is the reason why they're saying, as we talked about in the movie Aquaman, where they're saying that they want to unite the two worlds. Okay. Mm-hmm. The gods wants to come back and rule over us just like they did in the supposed good old days. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? And then they're going to then the top will be back on the pyramid again, because then there will be no separation between us and them.
That's not good news for us, though.
Well, some people pray for that, and you want God's will to be done. It depends on what God you're talking about.
That's true. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah, because some people are, there's, as the Bible says, there's lots of different gods, and we are controlled on this planet by the rebel held forces. Mm-hmm. Okay, not by the government of space. And that's the reason in the Lord's Prayer you pray for God's will to be done on earth, because it's definitely not being done now. Yeah. Okay. So under the structure we are, which is rebel control, they control our world through the 13 steps of the pyramid. Okay. Society is controlled by 13 levels. Mm-hmm. Okay. And the best way to understand that is to, as we always go back in time, we love to go back in time. Mm-hmm. We got to go back to the beginning.
Back to the beginning.
Yes. Normally, what that means is Anunnaki time. We're actually going beyond the Anunnaki. Remember, the scientists always say first we was hunter-gatherers. Right. We were just hunting and gathering, and we were just moving around, doing our thing, just, picking seasonal crops. And then out of the blue, we start building pyramids and cities and everything like that. Okay. Right. They had something to do with that, but why was cities created? Right. City was created because to control people, you have to pin them down. Right. Okay. As long as people are roaming around and hunting and gathering, you cannot control them. It's true. As long as you got horses out there running wild, you cannot control the horses or the cows or whatever you want to control. That's very true. Okay, and this is why the earth is nothing but a big cattle ranch. That's all we are. It's all about control. I'm not going to say no more than that. I'm not allowed to go in more into that conversation. But anyway, but that is all about control. And today's structure for the last 1,000 years have been ruled by the 13 steps. The 13 steps, the definition of the 13 steps keep changing from time to time, and who's on what step keeps changing. But we are ruled by the 13 steps. And what they did today is they gave me the new definition. The latest definition of the 13 steps. Oh, wow. Okay. Here we go, guys. So we're going to go over the 13 steps that control man. And remember,
write these down, guys.
Man needs to be controlled, because if we're not controlled, we're just roaming around doing what we want to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
That's a bad thing.
And right? The analogy of this, we always talk analogies. This is the problem America had in the 1950s. We were selling cars to America. Everyone in America had cars. Right. And we looked south and we saw this country called Mexico. And we was like, boy, we could make a lot of money down there. Right. But they don't have electricity. They don't have cars. They don't have roads. We couldn't sell them anything because they didn't have anything. Right. And we did not want to hook up Mexico the way we did to the United States, hook up every house. So we decided, hey, we're just going to hook up the major cities. So we went down, because we're so nice, and we said, hey, Mexico City, Guadalajara, Monterrey, we're going to give y'all free electricity. We're going to give y'all free roads. We're going to, you get what I'm saying?
That's really nice of us to do.
Yes. Okay. Now, we didn't do it to the people in the country, only the people in the city. Right. And that became, and once we gave them free roads, free electricity, free. Right. Then we could sell them cars, we could sell them refrigerators, we could sell them everything.
Build the economy.
Right. And then when people saw those cities of light in the distance, all the people in the countryside started moving to the cities. Right. And this was the first of the mega cities. And this is what we did all over the world. In Africa, like the best example of this today is Seoul, South Korea. 80% of everyone in South Korea lives in the metropolitan area of Seoul. If you live in Seoul, South Korea, you got one of the fastest internet rates in the world. You got everything. If you live 100 miles outside of Seoul, you might as well just have an ox and a car.
No electricity, nothing. That's bad. It's bad.
Okay. And this is the same way in Africa. If you live in Lagos or one of the modern cities, you got everything. Right. If you live 100 miles outside the city, it's like it's 200 years ago. Right. Okay, so that forces all the young people towards the cities, and basically the countryside is just emptying out. And this is happening all over the world. And we're doing this not because we want to, because we want to make money off these people. We want to control these people. Right. Because people, like in old Mexico or in Africa, everywhere else, as long as you're living on your little piece of land and you got your little chickens and you're getting your water out of the river and you're doing your own, how are we going to make any money off of you?
It's not going to happen.
We can't sell you anything.
There's nothing you can do.
There's nothing we can do.
Right.
You're just a waste. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Okay. Any comments?
Breaking the action here. I just wanted to give you a couple of things that came in here. people are talking about the airport in Denver. I can tell you a little bit about that, guys.
Yeah, we're not on that subject, no.
We will get on that, though,
Yes.
here eventually. And Olita is absolutely convinced that you are a gray. Heidi.
Okay, we are talking about that on a different subject.
Yeah,
too.
she says that she wants to know how many of you informants are out there.
Okay,
She wants to know
excellent.
about that.
Okay.
Terry McGowan says she needs a transcript from this show. She loves the info she gets here.
Excellent.
In Periscope, you guys need to clear up something because there's somebody on Periscope that thinks you guys are part of the Illuminati.
Oh, we are definitely not.
We are not. We are
No,
the
we're
other.
definitely not
We're the
Illuminati.
furthest other side
Yeah,
of the Illuminati.
yeah.
I think it's because of the picture that's.
Right. Okay, and let me explain.
Yeah.
We're running a project. I'm running a project for the people that give me the information. We're going to take a second to go over that. The problem is, okay, the secret societies was originally set up because it was determined that man was not ready for the information. So all information had to be kept secret. It is now, a lot of people disagree with that belief. So what we're doing is a test to give you information until you either fall over dead, grab your pitchforks and start rioting, or because what have happened
They're
when
not
the
trying to
book,
kill you guys. They're
right?
not
Because what have happened when things were accidentally released, like Necronomicon or the Demonic Bible, or these books that people thought if these books ever came out, it would be the end of civilization. No one cared when they came out.
Right.
The world just kept going.
Yeah.
You understand?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
so-
if we found out that aliens exist tomorrow, for 99% of the people, they will still go to work. They'll still, right?
Yeah, they're in the rat race.
What they are
Okay.
doing, guys, is giving you guys information, knowledge that from beyond, like the show is called.
Yes.
That is needed because this is something that is they want Livsey to pass this information on to you. So no, they are not Illuminati. They're just giving you information that you need to know. You need to know
Yes.
these things. We all
Right.
need to be aware,
Excellent.
and awake.
Yes.
Maybe we should take this picture off the screen.
Okay, yeah, we should take that off the screen. Yes. Okay. So I only put there so you would see the 13 steps and you can see that the top of the pyramid is not connected. And remember, the top is not connected because there's separation between us and them. They are separate from us.
No more scary things, guys.
Okay,
It's gone.
excellent. So we're going to talk about the present 13 steps that separate us from them and how life on earth is controlled and manipulated. So
Right.
let's go from the bottom to the pyramid going up. You can write this down or whatever. Okay, we're starting at the bottom. The 13th step, this is the information they told me. Okay, the 13 steps are at the bottom. It's drifters and undesirables are on the bottom. That's considered what they consider people that are just not in any group or don't fit into any box. Then above that, step number 12 is going to be prisoners and those on government assistance.
Well, so the
Okay.
drifters are worse than the prisoners.
Because prisoners they can use. They get free
that's
labor.
true. That is labor. I forgot about
Right.
that. Yeah.
See,
absolutely.
we got to be working. You got to be working. If you're a drifter, you're not producing anything.
Right.
Number 11 is unskilled workers. Number 10 is skilled workers and managers. Number 9 is people that involve store owners, merchants, people that is in the trading. Okay. Because we live in a materialistic world now. Number 8, you stopping me? Any questions, or we keep going?
No, I was going to make a Madonna joke, but that's okay.
Okay.
Keep going.
Number 8 is local and farm organizations, the police and churches are number 8.
Okay.
Number 7 is state and business organization, colleges and universities.
Seems like this would be further up to me, but okay.
No.
Okay. I'm just all right. I'm listening.
Okay. Number that was 7.
Yeah.
Number 6 is regional and trade organizations, corporations, and political parties. Number 5 would be national organization, which would be like Bohemian Grove, the
Okay.
Council on Foreign Relations, large national banks, and the armed services
Now-
would be number 5.
Just a quick one on that one. Bohemian
Yes.
Grove. Quick explanation for those.
Okay,
who don't know.
Bohemian Grove is There's a big festival that they have in California every year for the super rich and the super powerful. They meet
Like we're talking the Clintons, the Bushes, the...
Is for certain people that they need a way of contacting people. Okay, and this is something that they have. So they have these national groups, and some of these groups are social events. Some are business organizations. They just want to be able to control you because it's a pyramid scheme is what they're running.
But isn't this the one that allegedly they actually kill children and feast on that? Isn't that the whole thing?
Bohemian Grove will have to have a conversation on what they're doing there.
I want to get into that one because Dee and I talked about that one.
Oh, yeah, Bohemian Grove, that's a deep one.
And that's Bohemian Grove is when they have the giant owl over there.
Yeah.
Okay, and they worship that big owl. Yeah.
And they do the sacrifice of
we will talk about that another
Livsey's
time.
giving you the no.
Okay.
When he does that, you're in danger, so just move past it. Yeah, I
Number
that
4.
one out.
Yes. We have something called the Council of 300. This will be the Bilderberg Conference that happens. These are multinational banks.
Oh.
Okay. That is the Council of 300. Okay. This is international. Then above them, you have the Council of 32, which is number 3, which is the Club of Rome, the International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank.
Okay.
Number 2 would be the Council of 9, which is known as the 9 Unknown. These are the 9 richest and most powerful people in the world. They meet.
So we're talking like Rockefellers.
The Onassis, things like
we're
that.
talking about the deep
The
money
9
that
biggest
runs
people
everything.
in the world.
Yeah.
And then number 1 has a title, the King of the World. He's the only one who speaks to the overlords. And we believe this person is the Rothschild dynasty. The Rothschilds are the only one who has a connection to the top of the pyramid.
Interesting.
Okay.
Interesting parallel here. So basically, a lot of people say you got to go to church to talk to God because you have to go through, a religious figure to speak to the Lord. They think, right? Okay. So this would be the same idea that you have to go through them to communicate with the overlord.
They do not want. Remember, they want separation. So this is what Apollo wanted. They didn't like it the way it was before, where the gods was always, where the king was a direct, was when we talking gods, let's explain again. Yeah. Remember, you have big God and you got little God. These are little tiny gods. This is what we talked about, those who came down. So you can see these, you can say they're aliens, you can see these people from other planets, you can see these are spiritual creatures, you can call them whatever you want. They're just a lot higher than we are.
Well, comment that just came through in Periscope and says, so money talks no matter what then.
Okay, because money has no power. Money is a way of controlling people. Money is just potential, right?
Right.
And if you give like for example, this is the trick that they love to do with sports people. You can give a sports person a $30 million contract, a $50 million contract, and 5-10 years after he's playing football, he's living at his mom's house again. You understand what I'm saying? Right. Because he spent the money as fast as he made it. Okay. Right. So they know that. So they play these little games, and as I was talking about in the West, this is the problem we have with spies. I don't care how secret something is. They play the game of laying you on the ground and stacking money on top of you until the weight gets so heavy where you just can't take it anymore.
Right. Okay. It's a good way to put it.
You say, please don't stack another $100 bill on me. I just can't take it. There's already $2 million on top of me.
Right.
I'll tell you whatever you want. Okay. Okay, it works every time, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and this is how we are controlled. The problem is in certain societies, like in North Korea or these other places, that game doesn't work, right? So you have to control people by fear.
Right.
there's always so the tool which is used in some countries, they rule people by religion, like in some Muslim countries, or in some very conservative Christian countries. If you don't do this or that, we're going to stone you to death or cut your head off, or
Right.
In America, we're not afraid of getting our head cut off. We're afraid of losing all of our money and becoming homeless. You get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, that's the way we've been raised and thought. Yeah.
Or losing our freedom and being locked up and fed 3 meals a day. That's
Yeah, it's
oh
a
my
terrible
gosh,
situation,
that's a terrible
right?
situation to be locked in prison and given 3 meals a day. That scares us to death. Okay.
Okay, really quickly, Livsey. I just
Yes.
wanted a couple of things from the chat room I wanted to get in here.
Okay.
So Alita says, "Is that Mesa? MESA?" She's not sure. Have you heard of that before, Mesa?
Mesa, like the
That's
mountain.
No, isn't Mesa? Isn't that that club that for all the most intelligent people in the world that gather the most? Mesa.
I think it's Miss Menza.
Mensa is that.
Yeah, okay, that sounds right.
Okay.
Also, Keena's freaked out about the overlords. Jason Marcus, new viewer, says, "What about the Rothschilds? Are they owners of the world's banks?"
The Rothschild owns almost everything. That's the reason it's called the Rothschild dynasty. They own the banking system. Okay.
They funded both sides of the war since what, 1912
Yes, okay.
or something?
That's
like
the
that?
reason they're the ones. They are officially the spokesman for the. They're the only one who have direct contact to the overlords.
Right.
We are not allowed to talk to them. They're the only one. So the order goes that way. And how they control the world is through money. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't do what they want you to do, they will talk to somebody and say, "I'll give you a few $1 billion if you attack this person."
Absolutely.
Or "I'll give you millions to assassinate this person."
And it's no skin off their teeth. They own everything. So
Yeah, they own
care
everything.
at that point,
Those
so it doesn't make
higher-ups
any
are in
difference.
charge of everything.
And
Right.
if they want their money back, they'll just take
Right,
you out.
and that's what they do in countries that not doing what they want. Like in Mexico. When Mexico was going towards socialism in the 70s, they crashed their economy.
Right.
They control your like we have a floating economy. If the dollar is doing bad or good, it's not depending upon us. It's up to them.
Wow.
Okay.
Really quickly, Karen put in a really great thing. Says Bohemian Grove is a restricted 2,700-acre campground located at 20601 Bohemian Avenue in Monte Rio, California, United States, belonging to a private San Francisco-based gentlemen's club known as the Bohemian Club. In mid-July each year, the Bohemian Club hosts more than a 2-week encampment of some of the most prominent men in the world, and women, guys, and
It's
women.
happening this month.
It's happening this
True,
month.
but there's a reason why they do that. They worship Moloch.
Yes.
Which we're going to talk about not tonight. We don't have time.
Are we going to make
but-
it this far? That's my
Cremation of
question.
care.
Okay, we're gonna who?
Are we going to survive to talk about that?
Yes, we can talk about Moloch.
We brought up-
Moloch. Okay, we can say one thing. Okay, the eye.
Okay.
The eye have changed. The way we use the eye today is not the original intent of the eye. Remember, the earth is a colony. Who runs the earth has changed several times. The eye goes back to Baal. Okay. And the eye used to be we all heard of Taurus the bull. Okay. Long time ago, the earth was ruled by some people from the star system called Ultrabaran, which is the eye of the bull. That's the reason we drink the Red Bull and we have all this eye stuff. The bull used to rule, but not anymore. They're not in charge anymore.
Look at what you just did to Chris's face. You blew his mind.
Okay. And these are the people that the Germans was talking to. They was talking to the people from the star system of Ultrabaran. Okay. Now that was now. The power is we don't use that symbolism anymore because in Taurus, the constellation Taurus, a new power rose, which is the Pleiades. So now there's 2 power in the star constellation of Taurus. So they changed their symbol from the bull to the owl.
Yeah.
Their new symbol is the owl because the owl is the eye which is always watching.
Okay, so they're trying to kiss up to
Their
them.
old symbol was the bull,
Okay.
and that's the reason when you read the Bible, once the people left Egypt, they made a statue, not of a giant bull, because they didn't want to say that in the Bible. They said of a giant calf. And a giant calf is called a bull. Okay.
Right.
But they didn't want to tell you that in the Bible, so they said they made an image of they made a statue of a giant calf.
But in the Bohemian Grove, Moloch is the owl.
True, because they don't use that symbol anymore, because there's two powers in the constellation of Taurus. You have the Pleiades, and you have, but back long time ago, Pleiades was not a power. It was just Aldebaran. And Aldebaran is the eye of the bull.
Okay. All right.
Okay. And that's where you get Red Bull, because the eye is red. And that's the reason the gods in the God text, all of their sacred animals was the red heifers, was their sacred animal. And if you killed the red heifer, you would receive the wrath of the gods. And that's why the Israelites had to kill one red heifer every day, because Yahweh hates the bull.
Yahweh does, yeah.
Okay, he hates the bull.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
they're not all singing Kumbaya
No, it doesn't sound that
upstairs.
way.
You get what I'm
Wow.
saying?
All right.
Okay.
Wow.
So there is some division. As above, as below. We're not singing Kumbaya here either. So what
True.
can I say?
True.
But that was a massive diversion from our subject. We weren't supposed to go over that today.
No.
Okay. But anyway.
And just to, Margaret says that the golden idol Moses demanded destroyed. So she
True.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because Yahweh hates the bull.
Yep.
Okay.
So was Moloch an ancient god worshipped by the people neighboring Israel during the Old Testament?
Okay, we're going down that rabbit hole down there. We're supposed to be talking New World. Okay, but to finish this, the old symbol that they worshiped was Baal. Baal was a giant bull statue. And what they used to do in Baal worship, that was across all of northern Africa, and the Canaanites was Baal worshippers. They used to pass their children over the fire. This is the secret that what gypsies do. Gypsies still pass their children over the fire. Now the Bible got it wrong. The Bible says that they would throw their children into the fire. If you have 3 kids and you throw your children into the fire, you don't have any kids left.
Right.
The reason why, because just like in Zoroastrianism, the representation of God is the fire. So in Zoroastrianism, they have holy fire. They have fires that have been burning for 1,000 years, 1,500 years, and they worship the fire. Okay, so some pagans do this at the full moon. They make the fire and they jump the fire and they do all this stuff because fire is the representation. Okay, so we're way off subject and we're going down a rabbit hole we weren't supposed to be going down, and we'll never finish our subject at this point.
That's the way it usually goes.
That's
Okay.
it. So
Back to
anything
it.
before we get back on the track? Okay.
No, we just have one that Pleiades is like Seven Sister, or is it a different constellation? Is it like Seven Sister, or is it a
The
different...
Seven Sisters. Now, that is their symbol. We do not know. Again, there's 2 powers in the constellation of Taurus now. There's Aldebaran, which is still around. Aldebaran, I hate to say this, I'm not supposed to telling you, is where some of these gray guys are coming from. Okay.
Oh.
That, I wasn't supposed to tell you that, but it slipped out. Okay. But anyway, but the Pleiades, we really don't know what they look like. A lot of these blonde hair people that we say are from the Pleiades, a lot of these are real. Are the helpers of the gods that was taken into the inner earth to serve the gods. And it's a mixture of these two. Okay. So we do not know what, and the Palladians is 7 stars. We do not know which one of the 7 stars they come from. But they come from that Palladian system. But they don't have much power here, because we are controlled by Draco, reptilians, big, giant, heavy, massive, and they never show themselves.
We talked about those.
Yes,
Reptilians, but those are a lot.
Those
of
are
them
big.
here.
Those are they're very big, very very big, and they do not show themselves. If you see one of them, it'll probably be the last thing you ever see. Okay.
That's just scary, though.
Okay, enough of that.
Okay.
Get
No,
on
so
there.
we're
Let's
back.
move on to the
Okay,
next.
we're going
Move
back to
on
our
the
subject. So let's get back to the New World Order. Now, now, why are they playing this game? Since we talked about all this other stuff, it's the same thing they talk about on Star Trek. Star Trek is running their federation. They don't mess with the local systems. If they go across the planet, they're doing their whatever. They don't get involved. This is why the Earth, they let us have the illusion of being free. We do whatever we want. We choose our leaders. We can do whatever we want. Really is none of the above.
Right.
Okay. This is okay. The system of government we have now was set up under Truman. Okay. And Truman made it's different things to talk about how many levels there are above the president. We do not know. And we have never been told. The only clue we have is in the last days of the George W. Bush administration, which they will make sure this never happened again. In the last week he was president, it was on live TV. He kept he was having his farewell parties. He was introducing people. And he would say, this person has served for 4 administrations. This person has served for 6 administrations. Yeah. This person and this one guy, he's been here for 8 administrations. Now, the president keeps changing. These people stay the same. That is what is defined as deep state, which we're not going there. Okay, because the president is even controlled.
Yeah, oh yeah.
There are steps above the president.
They're just puppets.
Yeah.
Okay. They're filling a job title. It's just like a corporation elects a chairman of the board.
More honorary than anything else.
If he goes too far off the beaten path, they can replace him with someone else.
I mean, the higher-ups are the ones in charge.
Now,
right.
We're way off target, but we'll keep going. So, they don't like a lot of things that the present guy in the White House is doing. They're very upset, but they love it that he's making them lots of money. Right. So every time they get pissed off, they look at the stock market and they calm down.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And as long as he can play that game of pissing them off and making them money, they'll just keep their hands crossed.
Wow.
Because he's making. Remember, the job of the 13 levels of the pyramid is to keep remember, the job of a farmer, of a rancher, is to control the cattle. You can have hundreds of head of cattle and just a few cowboys, as long as the cattle don't get revved up, right? The guy in the White House is making the cattle unrestless. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can see it.
And if the cattle stampedes, there's not enough cowboys to stop the stampede. That's what they're afraid the guy in the White House might do.
Yeah.
Is because the cattle is becoming restless. They would do something about it, but they keep looking at the stock market just hit another record high. Let's give them a little more time. You understand?
So
it's the game.
So there's a theory going around, and Dee and I have been talking about this. Let's just put it out there.
Yeah,
I want to put it out
do
there.
it.
So, your opinion on this.
Okay.
Maybe your download or just your opinion. I want to get your opinion on this one.
Uh-huh.
So, we've got the Russians, we've got China, we've got North Korea, we've got all these people, and we have our current leader who's there.
Yeah.
Now, it seems pretty obvious that there was some influence that took place to get him put in the place that he was.
Right.
Wouldn't it be interesting to see it from the other side? Because you always talk about the movie aspect of things.
Okay.
What if the revolution, the one who's taking everything back from the people really in charge, is beginning with all these other countries coming to terms with what's taking place, and they're forming a revolution against the powers that be?
Okay, but this is the reason why Britain want out of the EU. They do not. Okay. If you read the Urantia book, they talk about government-run planets. It's one race, one people, one religion, one this. They don't want us that way.
New World
The
Order.
problem with the EU, they was getting too cozy, too close together. It's time to break that up. Anytime man start trying to hold hands and sing the Kumbaya and the races start getting along, you need to try to, you get what I'm saying, don't you?
Mix it up, right?
You gotta mix it up. You
Right.
don't want everybody in the world to get along, because the only way they can keep control of us
By dividing.
is by divide and conquer.
Right.
To keep the the blacks hating the whites and keep, you know, the Russians, Persians. Okay, they just keep so much stuff going on at all times, and this is the reason why they need the pot to simmer but not to boil over.
Yeah,
it's the mixture.
They can't have it. They can't control it.
Okay.
So they're riding a fine line all the time.
Right. And that's what they was getting afraid under Obama. Mm-hmm. Oh, you know, what they was doing in Europe is they formed the United States of Europe. Mm-hmm. And Obama was trying to form the United States with this, in America, Canada, and Mexico was going to form one union. Mm-hmm. And then that union was going to meet the other one. And we was getting into something called global government. Mm-hmm. And they don't want global government. They like it that we're bombing this country and we hate those people over there. They love it.
Yeah, if you're funding both sides of the war, it only makes sense, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
So that's the problem. We know who you are.
And how can we keep building tanks if we don't have no one to, you know, to keep building bombs? You got to get rid of the old bombs.
Right.
So you need to have conflict in the world.
Yeah, it's a moneymaker.
Right. So this is what they're doing. Mm-hmm. They cannot control us. If we was to unite, mm-hmm. there's not enough of them on this planet. And this is the secret of how the Nazis could control a city. The Nazis could have a city of 100,000 people. There would only be 500 German troops in that whole town. They kept so much stuff going, and the people hating each other and shooting.
Right.
500 people they could control a city of 100,000 people.
Right. It's amazing.
People in YouTube are just agreeing with you. Somebody put it, we've all been brainwashed. And that's really what they want. They want to brainwash the majority of the people.
Right.
I think when we're born into this society, we're already being brainwashed from the minute that we...
And that's why they love TV so much. That's why they're pumping all this stuff, because now, before they had to keep us busy, mm-hmm. this is the problem we had, like when we had the Depression, when there was a lot of people out of work. Mm-hmm. And when people get out of work, they get restless, and that's how revolutions get started and whatever.
Right.
Today, as long as you got the Kardashians and Netflix and whatever, we're too busy. We're busy.
It's true. We're wrapped up in The Bachelorette.
Yeah.
He has a question from YouTube.
Well, actually, an interesting comment from YouTube. Our friend Carrie from Australia, she says, black eye symbolism with prominent people. And then she says, interestingly, POTUS, President of the United States of America, was 70 years, 7 months, and 7 days when inaugurated.
Ooh,
Bible.
777.
Right. Now, there is some secret stuff that's going on there. This would have to do with all these cartoons and whatever. Mm-hmm. But this is a conversation for another day, because we've only got 15 more minutes. And we need to, unless we're going to go way over.
We'll go maybe 15 minutes.
Excellent. Okay. But the problem is that they want to keep us divided. Right. They do not want to turn us into a government rebel held planet where on this planet we're all getting along and we're all doing things, because there's a reason why they want to keep us divided. Okay. The problem is, as Socrates said almost 2,500 years ago, that once man's basic needs are met, and which are food, shelter, and clothing, that the human mind will start to evolve, and you will start thinking about why is the grass green, why is the sky blue, what's on the other side of that hill. Yeah. They don't want us to start thinking about, hey, what's those things flying around in the air? And what that on the moon? And to keep us diverted, this is why we have capitalism. This is why we have, a woman can buy clothes every day and never have nothing to wear. Okay.
That's the truth.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Now, how do you do that? By keep changing styles. You can buy a car every 2 or 3 years, and you can't drive your old car because it's not the latest style. See, we never have the basic necessities of life.
Right.
And they keep us in this rat race. And this is why, even though we go to the store and buy food, which they admit, most people do not know, over 50 to 60% of all food in the world is thrown out.
Wow. That's crazy.
Because we have all these expiration dates and whatever, and you go to the store and you see 50 brands of cookies. If they don't sell those cookies in 2 weeks, they trash them. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay. And this is why there's starving people in the world. There's not enough food to eat in the world because we're throwing out so much food. We can't.
Right.
Okay, it's a game.
It is.
So we never evolve. And they want to keep us because they want separation. Remember, they don't want us to move up to their level. Mm-hmm. They like us dumbed down and keep us...
We're talking about the reptilians.
Well, because they want to stay on top.
The reptilians, they run it all.
Yeah.
Right now, they are the overlords. Okay, now, so how we have it now is you have... Okay, so we're going to go back... We're going to go back again.
Okay. All right, let's go back.
Now, society, for thousands of years, you only had two types of people. Mm-hmm. You had the lords, mm-hmm. the ruling class, and you had peasants. Mm-hmm. There was never nobody else.
Okay.
Until Industrial Revolution. Mm-hmm. Then you needed workers or slaves. Mm-hmm. Then you needed skilled workers. Mm-hmm. That's the reason slavery ended, because you can't use slaves if you need skilled people. Mm-hmm. Skilled people means they got to be able to do things, and when they're skilled, they're not going to do a good job if they don't have an incentive. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? True. And you have an incentive called money.
Right.
So the more you pay them, the better job supposedly they'll do. Right. Okay. So that's why they wanted to end slavery ended all over the world, because they needed skilled workers. Mm-hmm. Okay.
We're talking about the steps, right?
Right. We're going up the steps now. This is why the middle class was created. The middle class was created ever since 500 years ago, when the when the Renaissance period, because that's when the beginning of materialism, when people started wanting to have their own clothes, shoes, this and that. You had shoemakers and all this other stuff, saddle makers, and you had, in the middle class was created, and merchants, all these people that made all this stuff, mm-hmm. right?
Right.
Now, this is how society has run since the Middle Ages, a mm-hmm. three-tier society. For thousands of years, it was a two-tier society.
Right.
Then a third tier was created because we wanted things and we needed workers. Right. So we became the debt slaves. First we was real slaves, then we became debt slaves, because you work, but you only make enough money so you never make enough money so you can quit working.
Yeah.
You only make enough money to last until your next paycheck.
It's a cruel joke.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because if they gave you enough money to quit working, you would quit working. Mm-hmm. But you never have enough to quit working. So you're locked. That is the definition of a debt slave. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, you understand?
Yeah.
Okay. So we've been having three-tier society ever since the Renaissance. Mm-hmm. There's a problem now, and this is the secret of New World Order, because now the third leg is no longer required, because the third leg is being replaced by automation and robotics. Oh, wow. They want to go back to a two-tier society again. So this is the secret agenda of the New World Order. This is why if you go to the grocery store, everywhere we are being replaced.
Right, it's true.
Okay.
Automation everywhere.
And they're going to automated trucks, automatic everything. Mm-hmm. And you go to the grocery store, everybody wants you to use to check the, sir, you don't want to go through self-checkout? We can teach you how to do it. They want, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're going to put ourselves out of work.
Right.
Okay. And once they get all of this going, mm-hmm. probably 20, 30 years from now, mm-hmm. a three-tier society will no longer be needed. Right. We can go back to the good old days of the peasants and the regular people. Okay. Now, this is why they ran up population, because they needed workers. Mm-hmm. That's why in the future they want to run population back down.
Right.
Okay, so what does have to do for me and you and their secret agenda? Their secret agenda is now we're helping ourselves to eliminate our own jobs.
Wow.
Okay. And most of us are happy to help them set up these automated plants and automated everything and smart computers. And we're eliminating so many jobs that our children are not going to have jobs in the future.
That's true.
Okay.
It's clear. I mean, you see how society is now.
Right.
You get these kids going to school, and then they come out of school and there's no jobs waiting for them.
Right.
And they're right back in the same place. But now they've accrued debt, which is going to put them into the dead slave category.
Okay, but you think it's bad in a country like America, What about in these countries, these like Honduras, Guatemala, these small African countries? They was just getting on their feet. They was just leaving the farms, and now we want to go back. So this is why an example of what happened is what happened. Let's go to England as a perfect example. We're going to do this real quick. Okay. If we went to England around the turn of the century, 1900, England was terrible. You had people sleeping on the street. You had prostitution everywhere. England was super dirty and nasty. You had people begging for the streets, starving to death everywhere. And then you had World War I, and the 20s was so beautiful, and the swinging 20s, everything, because you got rid of all of those people.
Right.
Okay? The ones the war didn't kill, the Spanish flu killed. Okay. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you went all the way up to the 40s, and again, in the 1930s, we had in the late 20s, had the Great Depression.
Right.
All over the world, people was again out of work. By the time the late 30s, early 40s, the world was doing terrible. And then, after World War II, it was wonderful again.
Right.
The 50s, the 60s, the early 70s was super fantastic. How great it is. And now we're back to that point again. We got all these people, migrants all over the world because there's not enough jobs, there's not enough this. We need something to get rid of a lot of these people. Okay, you get what I'm saying, don't you?
Yeah,
now,
absolutely.
That might sound great, but the problem is, what happened in World War I, what happened in World War II, and what's getting ready to happen now? The rich people don't go nowhere.
Right.
Because they have bone spurs. You understand what I'm saying? It's the poor people that get eliminated in this little game they want to play.
Right. Right.
You see how this game is?
Oh, yeah.
They get rid of all the people they don't need. And this time they want to get rid of it. And they want to run the number really low. They want to go from 7 billion probably to 2-3 billion. Some people say, hey, let's take it down to 1 billion.
Wow.
Because they don't need workers anymore.
Right.
They're just going to have robots. Smart computers.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
They can run the world. We don't need those people anymore.
That's true.
Okay, so they still have a problem. So this is the secret agenda of the New World Order. Now, in our last closing minutes, we're going to get into something even more scary so you can't think about. Because when you're poor and you die, your funeral's very sad because people are going to miss you.
Right.
When you're super rich, like Bill Gates, and you're sick, all your relatives got that smile on your face. You get what I'm saying? There's no tears. They're like saying, oh, you're getting better? I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
You're not leaving yet? Oh.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, I thought you was having a heart attack. Oh,
right.
it wasn't a heart attack after all? I'm sorry to hear that. You know.
Soon enough.
Okay. If you're rich, the fear is that all these people are trying to bump you off because they want what you got.
Yeah.
And the people in control don't want to lose control because I don't care how many billions of dollars you have, you're going to die one day.
You can't take it with you.
Back in the old days, but they found a system for that. This is what transhumanism is going to be about. See, we have people today like Cheney, that vice president of ours. He have probably had like 6, 8, 10 heart transplants. Nobody know how many heart transplants because they won't tell us.
Yeah, he was like the Terminator. He just kept coming back.
Yeah,
took him out.
Who keeps donating all these hearts that he keep getting?
Donating?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, donating in air quotes. You understand what I'm saying?
Donating, yeah.
You don't want to have anything in your body that he require and all these other people require. That's why they want to have your DNA records all on file. Because if you need something that some of these people have, you might just have a little accident. Okay.
Might disappear.
Now, what transhumanism is all about going into the future, since our human body, they now know, cannot live indefinitely. But if you can swap out a heart, see, now we're swapping out a heart for another heart. And they give you a new heart, that one's going to last 5-10 years. Then you got to get another heart, and that lasts 5-10 years.
Right.
Now, why don't they just give you a mechanical heart.
Right.
And it can last for 100 years.
That's right.
And your liver's going bad, they give you a mechanical liver. And slowly you start replacing all of your natural parts with...
Start turning into Darth Vader.
Okay, but you can live to be 200-300 years
That's
old.
true, you can. Absolutely.
That's what transhumanism is taking machine and man and seamlessly putting them together, and how wonderful and how beautiful that can be. And they can just download your brain into a cyber brain and you can just live forever. Your grandkids never going to get what you got because you ain't going nowhere. You say, hey, I'm not going nowhere.
I don't think we're going to make it out alive.
And there's movies about that shows that in the future, where these people, they're half mechanical and half human.
Cyborgs.
And okay.
There's already movies about
Yeah,
transhumans.
but they're still alive. Because if you're Bill Gates, you don't want to die.
That's true.
If you're Rockefeller or the Onassis or the Kennedys, why you want to die and you can just stay alive?
That's the truth.
Isn't that a wonderful future for them? But don't be thinking that's for you, because you don't have $1 million to pay for that mechanical liver. It's not for you.
Low, right? $1 million
Right.
low. It's probably, we're getting up into the
That's how the
hundreds of
robots
millions.
take over.
Right.
Yeah, the robots eventually do. They figure out a way to take over. I agree.
Okay, so this is the transhumanistic future that they want to talk about. They talk about how great it's going to be. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for the super filthy rich.
Yeah.
For us, there will be a few of us left around to service them, to clean their houses. You get what I'm saying, don't you? But they don't need 7 billion of us anymore, because they are replacing us with robots and automation. But we can say, yes, we agree with this future, or that future can go to hell. Okay. Yeah. And if we stand up and say, we're not going, and this is what they tried to do when the Industrial Revolution first started. There was especially a lot of unrest in England, because not everybody wanted this Industrial Revolution. They realized, like for example in New York City. In New York City in 1900, there was 1 million horses in the city. By 1920, horses was banned from the city, which was great and wonderful. But think about all the people that lost their jobs.
Right.
The young people thought it was wonderful. But the older people, if you made saddles for 4 or 5 generations and you made wagon wheels and you was a blacksmith, your services was just no longer required. And that is what they call the concept of useless eaters. And you need to look that up. Because what we did in the 1920s, going into World War II with all these, remember, the strength of a country was determined by how many men you had and how many horses you had in your country.
Right.
When horses was no longer required, we used Gatling guns to get rid of some of these horses.
Right.
Okay.
That's terrible.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just terrible.
Because we had millions of horses and they was no longer required, but they was still eating. You understand what I'm saying? Okay.
Yeah.
And now we got 7 billion people. We don't need them anymore, but they're still eating.
That's right.
What are we going to do with all these useless eaters that we don't need? Okay.
It's cold out there.
Look up that term. Google that term, useless eaters. Okay. They're probably talking about you and your kids. You understand what I'm talking about? So this is something we're going to face in the very near future. 2025, 2045. It's going to be wonderful for the filthy rich and all these people. For the people, oh my gosh. It might be very scary. Okay.
I could see it. I could totally see it.
Okay.
Had a couple of questions in the chat room really quickly. Some relating more. A lot of people are talking about, Ted Williams. I see over in Periscope, and then talking about the bionic kidneys and all the different things that are taking place already. You can already see where it's heading right now. One question that came up off subject, but I do want to touch on it because it's interesting, because Jason brought it up. He's talking about when were weather modifications put into use, the NWO or HARP?
Okay, that is a different subject. We will list that as a subject. I cannot cover that in 2 minutes. But weather modification, we can modify the weather. No, we do not control the weather, but we can modify the weather.
Okay.
Okay, that's definitely
a future
true.
show.
And we can future show, and we'll list that as a future show.
Okay.
Yeah, and Hart will be a part of that show. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Next.
So that we're gonna leave it there. Everybody's talking about they're agreeing with you 100%. We're kind of going down the list with everybody and talking about Ted Williams, Cybergenics, how this is all coming together. Anyway.
Yeah, and talking about that, the transhumanism, that's what we were saying, that
Mm-hmm.
eventually that's the goal, for them to take over. And some of us, like you said, some of us will be around, but some of us, there's another theory that some of the people will become just fertilizer and things like that.
Well, you gotta do something with that useless eaters,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Okay.
Here's something right here from Denise Kennedy. She says in Denver, they're gathering the Canadian geese, killing them, and donating the meat to the needy. Ooh.
Okay, that's what we did with the buffalo. They was not
Same
required.
thing.
And we had buffalo hides that was 10, 15 feet tall.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Because they was just in the way.
Now
Right?
you're taking resources from the important people.
Yes.
I can't
See?
deal with it.
And remember, some people think that these people from Honduras and Guatemala is kind of like, we don't need them. Right?
We're kind of seeing that right now.
That's why they're being put in cages. You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very sad. Very sad.
It's
A lot of-
very, very
lot of
sad.
parallels
And
to
we're
things.
not doing nothing about it. We're like saying, oh, that's kind of sad. Let me go and get another a Coke. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But remember, it's them today. It's your turn tomorrow.
That's
Okay.
right, guys. We're not above it.
Yeah, we're not above it. No.
So
Okay.
band together. That's what
Yeah.
we got to do. All right, Livsey. So we're running out of
So
time.
we're out of time. So, okay, this one, you're going to have a little problem sleeping tonight. But save your energy because next week you definitely won't get any sleep.
Oh,
okay.
boy. And I already know about this one.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. Denise has one thing before you
Yeah,
drop that on
suggestion on
everybody.
Periscope.
Yeah,
Margaret
don't
West
hit that
says,
button.
I'd love to hear about the USS Nimitz encounter sometime.
Okay, excellent. That'll be on the list too. Okay, next week, real quick,
If we make
to
it.
let you know, we're talking understanding vampires, incubus, succubus, immortals, Lilith, and the Great White Brotherhood.
Oh my
all
God.
hooked together. If we survive this talk, we did good. If we don't survive, you know why.
Oh my God, next week's gonna be
This might be the final goodbye, guys.
It might be the final goodbye.
With that being said, thank you all for joining us for what is possibly the last show you will see from us. So thank you all for coming in. We appreciate it. But seriously, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate the patronage. We appreciate everybody joining us on Facebook, Periscope, spiritrealm.net, YouTube. Thanks for everybody tuning in tonight. Please spread the word. Please let everybody know. We're going to be talking about subjects that they don't want us to talk about. And that means get your friends together. Let's find out what we need to do about this stuff, guys.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.